You've got 11 candidates standing in Peckham. Could you name me any other parties who as far as you know, have put people up?
I know we've got Harriet Harman.
Democrat, I think it's English Democrats, I think.
The Green something.
Have you heard of the Alliance for Workers' Liberty?
Good God, no.
Workers' Revolutionary Party?
Yeah, that sounds pretty far left.
Oh, are they still going?
Yeah. Just looking for number 25. The Peckham headquarters of the Workers' Revolutionary Party.
We're saying we need a workers' government, not a bankers' government. We're saying defend the hospitals, scratch all the immigration laws. Workers should be able to work anywhere. Hello, young man. Now you need your schools and nurseries. I'm Joshua Ogunlaye, 20 years old. I'm standing for the Workers' Revolutionary Party. This is our central base of command, if you could call it. It was an internet cafe. We still have to sign there.
Renationalising the railways, a free and independent Palestine, troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan, an end to tuition fees, a massive programme of council housing. I mean, you're not asking for much here, are you, in the tight financial circumstances?
No, we're not, because there is always funds to bail out the banks.
You know, for what, we can't realise any of that as you see it in the society in which we now live. To coin a phrase, you're talking about a revolution.
Yes, we are talking about a revolution, which is why our party is called the Workers' Revolutionary Party. And the conditions are that, workers will be driven into it, because they won't be able to live with all these cuts, all these major parties are proposing. It's an election, it's a crisis election, meaning the only thing that will come out of it is a crisis government. So we smack the workers back, and workers won't have it.
You think we could be in a revolutionary moment?
I think we are developing a revolutionary moment, as we're seeing in Greece. Greece is a revolutionary situation there. And Greece is just, England is just, UK is just a small step behind Greece. If you look at it, in the conditions that are going on, you have a situation whereby you have a working class used to a certain standard of living. So revolutionary action is developing, but the leadership, which my party is standing for, that's what's lacking.
The vision is today Greece, tomorrow South London.
Why not? One of our very big supporters in Peckham.
Yes.
They look after us. They say, they want workers' party, they want a workers' government because they want a better future for their children.
Yes, nice one.
Wow, you might do all right here.
People looked to Labour in 1997 to get, for a better future for themselves. Everybody thought it was going to last forever. Even Gordon Brown till 2007 said, I have solved that. Seth is a great magician. No more boom and bust. Got to university, boom, it's a bust. We're in Peckham Library now.
The award-winning Peckham Library.
Award-winning Peckham Library, yes.
This is where it happened?
Yeah, this is
where you were converted.
I was coming from the job centres, looking for jobs for something, looking for something to do to get money at the meantime. And then this lady was like, oh, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, what do you study? We're from the Young Socialists. A consciousness of understanding was literally awakened. Even before I became a socialist, I wanted to change the world, if you can believe that, man. How many students get to do this? How many students get to build a party, represent a future in such a significant way?
Well, I think the country needs to change. When I say change, I mean change for Rye Lane. Change as in getting new shops into Peckham, new people coming into Peckham, Crossrail, which will bring people from the outside of London.
It doesn't sound like the revolution.
I don't know. It's not a revolution, it's a change.
Do you think it might be time for a revolution?
Oh my God. No. I can't see me with a banner, can you?
Really?
Good morning.
Are you going to vote Green in the election?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, because I'm totally hissed off with every party.
Well, back in 1970, when I had my first child, I was already a bit worried about the way things were going. It's the time of Silent Spring and the population bomb and books like that, and they were really important in my thinking at the time. The ideas were there already, although they probably were a little bit spacey. I mean, I thought civilization was going to collapse, so I'd even learned to do things like weave my own cloth. These were things.
We were all going to have to go back to the land and all that.
I thought were going to be very important, for the future.
Instead of which you've got to know how to work an iPhone.
Through the years, I mean, I've looked at the other political parties and I'm really glad they're talking green. It's fantastic. But they just don't do enough, and they don't translate all their fine words into action. If they did, I'd be really happy. I would go home, I'd spend more time with my grandkids.
This has been the election, supposedly, in which the old, tired Labour-Tory duopoly was blown open and traditional politics looked to be a busted flush. Why haven't you lot done better?
I think those leadership debates were a crucial sort of turning point in British politics, and if we'd had our leader up there as well, I think you would have seen something quite spectacular for the Green Party. When people do get a Green elected, then they usually like it, and they do usually re-elect
You, of course,
them
are an elected Green politician.
twice over.
Let's
yes.
make that clear.
You know, there is a green issue. We don't know. We can't live on green issue alone. We got to live on other things. You know what I mean?
What about, because one of the first things I did on council was the London living wage.
Where's the intersection between the Green Party and what used to be called the working class?
I couldn't have got elected here if I didn't have working class votes. I'm working class myself, which you know, born in council house, you know, dad was a hospital cook. I can understand the difficulties in worrying about the environment when you are on a very low wage, when you can't feed your kids, you can't heat your house.
What gets you out of bed in the morning? Because you're not going to beat Harriet Harman here, are you?
Well, we're not going to beat Harriet Harman, but I think every single Green vote does two things. First of all, it puts pressure on Harriet, the Labour Party, the other political parties. And also, of course, if we do get enough votes, we also get our deposit back. And £500 for the Green Party is a huge amount of money. It's a lot of leaflets for the next election.
Well, that's a strange thing. So you put £500 in a box and then you work like hell to get it back.
More or less, yes. But it's also the fact that if people do vote Green, it means that they, you know, they're likely to vote Green again. And so it is getting people used to voting Green, so that they're, you know, eventually there will be more than one Green MP, as we expect to get this time. Basically, I'm an optimist, and so I assume at some point the rest of the world will wake up to the urgency. I mean, we heard this morning that Arnold Schwarzenegger has now stopped offshore drilling for oil off California. If he is thinking like that, then surely Obama and the rest of the states are going to follow suit. And if we think that they are the biggest polluters in the world, then that is at least a breakthrough.
Today, California, tomorrow, South London. Okay, in this house, we've got the new political pluralism in action. They're supporting not only the Workers' Revolutionary Party, but also the Greens.
You don't often see that, do you?
No, why is that?
Right, my wife, she offered to put up a green poster several months ago, and my son, he's standing for the Workers' Revolutionary Party. He's actually standing in Streatham.
Right, okay.
If you accept the analysis that actually it's capitalism that's the problem, then the three main parties are not actually addressing that issue. But I don't feel that I have to vote for one of the mainstream parties simply because that's more realistic. I think at the end of the day, you have to vote what your conscience suggests to you.
My name is Johara Robi, and I am standing for the English Democrats in the Camberwell and Peckham constituencies. We are standing the English Democrats. It's for England to have her own parliament in the same way that Scotland has his own parliament, and Northern Ireland and Wales.
But to meet someone like yourself who grew up in Spain who thinks this is such an injustice, what makes that important for you?
Yeah, it means we're talking about justice, okay? So it doesn't mean which color you are, where you come from. We are paying too many taxes from England to the rest of the UK, and we don't have the same rights as free university, as free NHS care for the elderly people.
There are other policies involved in what you believe in. So you want to withdraw from the EU?
Because to join the EU Parliament it costs billions of pounds a year. And on top of that, the English Democrats doesn't want to be ruled for any country of the EU.
Your party's most prominent national figure is the Mayor of Doncaster. I mean, he believes, for example, that man-made climate change is not a reality.
Yeah, always has been climate change through the beginning of the Earth.
So you believe that as well?
Yeah, it has been from the prehistoric times, from the Stone Ages, long time ago.
Okay, we'll have to agree to disagree about that, I think. The other one is this idea that immigration into this country is too high. You successfully emigrated here, you're a successful immigrant, and now you want to say, right, stop, that's enough.
No, I don't want to say stop. I just want to have more measures.
Mass immigration is out of control. No more so-called asylum seekers should be allowed into England. Britain should withdraw from the UN Convention on Refugees. If you say no refugees, then no one who was suffering in Nazi Germany could have come to Britain.
Yeah, we're talking about these times now.
Some people say that the English Democrats are a kind of extreme right, racist kind of party. What's your response to that?
Well, if the English Democrats are a kind of racist party, why should I be standing on the English Democrats? Should I be racist for who?
What kind of person do you think will vote for the English Democrat?
Well, someone who is living here for many years, who loves England because loves Shakespeare, loves theatre, arts, the culture, the land, and about paying too many taxes. If we have the English Parliament, we will have less to pay, I think.
I see. The way you talk about England, I don't really understand the way you talk about England, because the England I like is open and accepting and understands that refugees have to come here.
Yeah, we
and
understand.
it's part of Great Britain, and understands that whether you're English, Welsh or Scots, in the end is kind of irrelevant because we're all in this together.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And you don't really sound like a party who believes in much of that. These are trying, difficult, uncertain times, and some of that trickles through to the kind of people we've met today. In certain cases, it stokes an appetite for revolutionary fervour. In others, it seems to create an opening for quite ugly, borderline xenophobic politics. And in the case of the Greens, who've been plugging away for years, maybe times like these create an opening for one of their biggest breakthroughs in living memory. People say, even with reference to the Greens, oh, I can't vote for them, they're a small party, it'll make no difference. But maybe we shouldn't forget that that applied to the Labour Party once. Are they singing Gordon Brown?
Yes.
They are?
Yes.
Who's singing that then?
That's me. They're pressuring the poor man too much, man.
Yeah, they're really having a go at him.
Yeah, you know, I don't know he keep up, but you know, God bless him.
My Prime Minister, I'm voting for Gordon Brown.
Hey,
my true hero.
all the rest of leaders, to me they're only self-pleasers. I'm voting for Gordon Brown,
My Prime Minister.
Yes. Hey. Yeah, I'll tell you.